Hi, I'm Dr. Tim Fargo. I'm a chiropractor, and with this video we're beginning a series that we're going to explain some of the basic concepts that are involved with chiropractic and what we do and why we do it. The first word that I want to define is a thing called a subluxation. Now that's spelled S-U-B-L-U-X-A-T-I-O-N. It's a big $10 word which basically describes what it is that we as chiropractors have been identifying and working to treat over the last 100 and some odd years. Now what a subluxation is, if you're a patient here in the office or you've been a patient in another office, you may have heard this term before. A subluxation is a misalignment of the spine or a loss of normal movement of the spinal bones, which then creates an impact on the nervous system. Now the reason it creates an impact on the nervous system is because there's a very intimate relationship that exists between the nervous system and the spine. The nervous system, as well, I need to define that, consists of several parts. You have a brain, which of course is being protected by a hard bony shell, the cranium, and then you have the rest of the nervous system, which is the spinal cord, and then the nerves which branch off the spinal cord, which are being protected by a flexible bony tube called the spine. Now, as you can imagine, if you get a hammer in the head or you fall on your head really hard, that could impact the nerve tissue, i.e. the brain, right underneath the surface here. But you can also develop problems with the other parts of the nervous system because of distortions, misalignments, or loss of normal movement in the spine. There's a curious part of this, which is that the nervous system is really like a two-way street, wherein you have information flowing from the brain down to organs and tissues and cells, and then information coming from organs and tissues and cells and flowing up into the brain. So each part of the spine has specific relationships to particular internal organs. For example, the nerves that come off of and branch off the cord in the lower back go to such organs as the bladder, the colon, the rectum, the prostate in guys, the reproductive organs in both men and women. Those organs are intimately connected to this particular part. Therefore, when you have a subluxation or a misalignment in this part of the spine, it can have a tremendous impact on those particular organs, causing them over time to malfunction, and even as time goes on, make them more susceptible to disease processes and infection. The strange part of it is, there's been a concept in chiropractic really for a very long time that the way this process works is that when you have a subluxation, it somehow puts direct pressure on a nerve and then impacts internal organs, etc. More recent research is showing that while this may in fact be the case in some circumstances, more often what's also occurring is that the subluxation is creating negative messaging. We call it negative body messaging up into the brain, not consciously necessarily, in addition to which there's usually positive messaging coming up into the brain. That's called proprioception. This positive messaging is also being interfered with. This double whammy of an increase of negative messaging and a decrease of positive messaging into the brain causes your brain to start to produce stress hormones. And as a consequence of that, the stress response is activated in the brain. It influences everything from your immunity to your ability to produce pleasure hormones for sleep, for things that prevent depression. It changes blood pressure, as I mentioned, can change cholesterol, and just generally impacts the body as a whole. It's been observed in chiropractic for really since its inception that when we work to identify and correct subluxations in the spine, we have not only localized impact on areas where people hurt, but we also have a huge impact on the general health of the person. And that is because of some of the global effects that I'm just describing to you. This is why we recommend that people get checked. If you've never been checked for subluxation, if your children have never been checked, you should be checked. Because, much like heart disease, tooth decay, diabetes, and cancer, not always will you have, and in fact quite commonly you will not have any symptoms associated with a subluxation. The way to find out if you have one is to get checked by a qualified and great quality chiropractor. Thank you very much, and as we progress in the future with these videos, we're going to talk about a lot of other subjects related. Thank you.